From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stoudinger.
Good evening, everybody. I'm John.
Hi, y'all are. Cajun Rob here hanging out with you.
We have a special guest on tonight. She's a little bit behind us in time because she's out in California. She's the first woman to win a Toyota Series event. And she did that relatively easy, but she won't say that. She'll say it was difficult, but she did real well. Deanna Moreno from California, great fisherman, and we're lucky to have her on just to hear a little bit about her story and some fishing in California.
Absolutely.
You ready? Bring her on?
Let's do it.
All right. Good evening.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going good. Just a little nervous still.
You're good. You're good. Hey, congrats for winning. That was an awesome accomplishment. There's some guys will fish those Toyotas 10, 15 years, never win. So huge shout out to you. Great job.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Still can't believe it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's closer than I've ever been. I mean, my best finish in a Toyota was 5th. So, and Chuck Mankey's watching, he says.
Hello.
All right. And Jeremy says hello.
Hey, Jeremy.
If you don't mind going through and talking a little bit about your history as far as fishing and stuff like that, how you got started, just fishing in general, then getting into tournaments and things like that.
Okay. Well, born and raised in Modesto. My parents had a boat shop, so been around boats all my life. My brother currently works for Phoenix Boats. He's the sales director out there, so been around boats a long time. My family has fished, since we were in the boat business. My mom did some competitive fishing. I didn't take up bass fishing until I met my husband through my mom, who fished in 2006. So he's the reason why I'm fishing today. He's my big supporter. Couldn't think of enough. I remember the first time we went out fishing, it was super hard because I kept getting, you get frustrated with the backlashes and stuff. So a couple of times I had to put myself in a timeout. Relax. Okay, I can do this. And he'd say, come on, just, pick up that reel. You got this. So, and then once I caught that first fish, I was just hooked, especially if it's a big one on the Delta. Or Clear Lake. So that's how I kind of got into fishing.
Awesome.
First tournament was probably tournament fishing, me and my husband on the Delta. Once I got that underneath my belt, then it was California Bass Federation is kind of my first tournament by myself with a different person in the boat. So it was fun. The guys at California Bass Federation, I can't thank them enough. They're very supportive. They're family. They're the ones that text me after the tournament, Deanna, you did good, or Jeff and Archie every single time. So thank you guys.
Awesome.
So yeah, after I started doing a lot more of the California Bass Federation, then I got into One Bass and MLF. I think I started in 2016 or 17 MLF, and you just get hooked. It's great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you don't mind talking about the California Delta tournament, I mean, you said earlier it was tough, but you ended up winning by almost 4 pounds. That's
yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. So California Delta is just different. It's tidal water. So you have to go out like 2 weeks prior to the tournament starting. So me and my husband, we fished 2 weeks prior every single day, just trying different baits, different areas, pre-fishing for him. So that's how, you have to read the water, the grass, and the tides. So, going into day one, I drew John Strelick. He was great to fish with, and he left the radio on all day, so it was awesome.
Oh,
It's always nice to fish with music. So I had no fish in the morning on day one. John had his 5. I was like freaking out a little bit, and I'm like, nope, okay. I got all day. I got to wait for the right tide to come in. And sure enough, it did. Just within a 10-foot stretch, I caught my limit, the 5 right away, right off the bat, right when the tide changed.
wow.
So that was awesome. So we kind of just stayed in this one little area because John caught a lot of fish during practice. So I tried to fan cast everywhere, and I threw up again in that same area that I caught those 5 in. And then right then I caught that 6.2.
Wow.
All my fish that first day came on MN3, margarated mutilator, robo worms, 6-inch straight tail. So yeah, it was awesome catching that 6. I was shaking so bad. Gave on a hug, and it was just great, that feeling. And then I'm trying to think, we kind of stayed around pretty much all day there. I threw a drop shot, and I kind of switched things up. Delta, you kind of have to just read the water and just make sure you're adjusting to what you see. But pretty much all my fish on day one came on the drop shot.
Cool.
So,
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite color. That is an awesome color on the TVA lakes in Tennessee. That's my go-to color on them also.
oh, really? Good to know.
Yep. Just in case you ever have to fish out there, take your MM3s.
We're going to Wheeler in November.
Yep.
For the championship. So I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, they work there. They work there.
Okay. So yeah, day 2 I fished with Micah Jones. Threw the drop shot, wacky Cinco around. Kind of struggled in the morning. Only had 2 small ones, and I'm like, okay, if it's my time, it'll be my time. But
yep.
the tide was not right, so we kind of made a couple runs here and there. Didn't have much movement, so we went back to the same spot we were there in the morning, and the tide was right. The grass looked great. Pockets here and there, and the I can't even think right now. It was just perfect for top water. So I threw a spook, and I caught another 4 fish, and I caught that 5. I think it was 5.5 on top water. So that was pretty cool. Felt pretty confident coming in. It was kind of cool coming in the first 2 days with 2 bags in your hand.
That is
fun. Day 3, well, that night, I was in first place, going into day 3. I was really nervous going, okay, well, it'll be okay. If it's my time, God wants it to be, it'll be my time. So I slept pretty good, still a little nervous, but I drew Christian, and he was just a wonderful guy to fish with. In the morning, we came up on his first spot, and he caught an 8-pounder. The first, it was crazy. We were both shaking. It was awesome. So I was so happy for him. But by 7:30, we both had our limits, so that took a lot of the stress off on day 3. Not very big ones, but it did, relieve the stress. So we made a couple runs. The water just looked good for, reaction, your crankbaits. And then I threw a top water, the spook again. And I caught I think it was a 3.5 on a spook then. So I was bumping up a little bit each hour with weight. I think I went in leading Rachel and Mike, I think with 4 pounds. So I was still a little nervous. And then you're like second your guess. Okay, did I weigh that fish right? Do I really have this amount?
Yep.
So, and then we went back to, by the afternoon, we went back to the morning spot where we, caught our limit, and he caught that 8. And the water the tide was perfect. The water looked right. And we just kind of fan casted Cinco's around, kind of upgraded a little bit here and there. And then at noon, here's the camera boat.
Of course.
Of course. They would camera boat there with us for a while. And, which makes you a little nervous, but sometimes that camera boat is lucky. And it was lucky for me. So I did throw a Cinco around and I caught it. I think it was 3.8.
Nice.
Yeah, for the camo boat. So those are the pictures on MLF that you're seeing. That's the 3.8 one. So yeah, the camo boat is lucky. But yeah, it was a great tournament. Christian was wonderful to fish with, and I was happy that he got first too. So that was pretty
nice.
Cool.
Nice. So I just can't see myself winning a tournament like that. How did you feel going into the final day?
I was super, well, I couldn't believe it actually that I was in first place because there's so many good co-anglers out there behind me. I was nervous, excited, but really this year, my frame of mind with fishing, 2023, I just was having a hard year. I was really hard on myself because I'm very competitive, but what bass fisherman isn't competitive? I was really hard on myself. So I really had a hard year last year, but this year, the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, I'm going to have a different focus. So I started eating better, working out, lifting weights. So I was physically ready, but the mental game, that's where I feel like it changed from last year to this year. I was more, okay, if it's meant to be, it'll be. I'm just going to go out and have fun and meet new people. I'm not going to be hard on myself. So that's, I think, what changed for me this year. And I think going into day 3, I just kept thinking, okay, if it's meant to be, if it's your time, it's your time.
Yep.
But I was nervous.
Yeah.
In fact, I think MLF took a picture of me praying in the boat. No.
That'll hurt either. That'll hurt either. But it seemed like you had a real positive attitude too going into day 2 and day 3. You was really positive. Say, hey, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I think that helped you a lot too, seems like.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of it compared to my other tournaments that I fished. I feel like this year I was trying to be more positive. You do have to remind yourself, but
yep.
Yeah.
But no, I still can't believe it. It was a great feeling winning and being on that stage, especially with Rachel. I was really nervous that Mike Alvarez was behind me because he's an excellent stick. I fished with him before at the California Bass Federation at I think it was Clear Lake. I can't remember right now. Anyways, so I knew because he normally fishes out the front of the boat. So I knew it was a good stick. And I'm like, oh man, if he punches all day.
Yep. You never know. You never know.
So I was a little worried about him, a little bit worried about Rachel because I knew she's a good stick on the Delta. And I knew she was probably throwing the drop shot to the MM3.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I was really nervous thinking who was behind me. A little bit more confident because I knew I had a little bit of a lead. But Christian was awesome. He goes, Jan, I think you got this. And I go, well, I know you got it because you have an 8-pounder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just really nervous and you're second guessing your weight. Like, did I really weigh that in right? And I was double checking and I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I do have 13.
Wow.
But yeah, it was exciting.
Jen Tucker says your sister is here.
I says,
Linda Mankey is watching.
Hi, Linda.
Aaron Butner says hi, Deanna.
That's my mom.
Oh, wow. Hi, Mom.
And Jen Tucker says she's proud of you.
Thanks, sis.
You got a good fan club right there.
Barking Ruger's one of our I won't say favorite guests, but he's a
regular.
He's a regular avid watcher of the show. Says, how dare we start without him?
He meant to say Seaco's on that.
Yes, he did.
Seaco's are deadly on a Delta.
Deadly on a Delta.
Yep. They are wacky. No. Oh, my husband's downstairs. So we have 4 dogs. We have 2 little dogs, and then of course we have labs. As you can see, we hunt. So we hunt. So we
Awesome.
we deer hunt too. Me and my husband, we both bow hunt.
Cool.
So we are the outdoorsmen. We do deer and turkey, and it's fun. Gets us out.
Awesome.
As long as you enjoy it, that's all that matters.
That's right. But I have noticed, like I fished the BFLs in Kentucky and Tennessee. I'm seeing more and more, I guess, younger ladies, maybe college, high school age, starting to fish as a co-angler. So it really is encouraging to see more girls and ladies getting involved in fishing. That's great.
Yeah, I think we only have a couple out here in the West. Rachel and I are pretty much the 2 that usually fish the West region. And then there's a few young ones that they need a little, come on, you can do it.
Yep.
And it's okay.
Yep.
And then also having the right gear too. I feel like I have the right gear to keep me warm and dry, and which I've learned to adjust. Having a safe face is really good because it helps from the bugs and the water that'll hit you. But yeah, it's the gear is a big one, especially this season. Clear Lake, March, we fished 3 tournaments that in 1 week. Me and my husband. It was crazy. So the first one was a Nugent Pro-Am, and that day it was snowing. So I always wear ice fishing gear. Girls, ice fishing gear. So it's DSG brand. It's only made for females. But what's nice about the ice fishing gear, if you fall in the water, you'll float for 2 hours. Oh,
sweet.
So it was that tournament. It was cold, shaky head. We threw that around. So we placed. I placed 13th in that tournament, and then that same week we fished MLF. I got to draw Jared Lentner.
Oh wow! Huge name.
I pretty much watched him all day. It was kind of hard to fish, but I really wanted to learn. Like, okay, what do you do?
Yeah.
So he's a vacuum to fish behind. I only caught 1 fish behind him.
Yeah, that's a tough draw. That's a tough draw.
Yeah, but it was fun. It's totally worth, when you draw something like that to learn from, it is totally worth it. So yeah, that MLF on the Clear Lake, I had a tough tournament. And then me and my husband, we fished New Gen teams, and we placed 6th. I think it was out of 60 boats. So
nice.
And then it was totally different that whole entire week. The beginning was shaky head. You had to really shake it and then leave it. Like don't touch it. Like just leave it. They will just come and get it. And I'm trying to think. MLF I flipped, and then the last tournament, the team tournament, was reaction. We threw a lot of reaction bait, crankbaits, chatterbaits, and stuff like that. So yeah,
absolutely.
It's gear.
Oh yeah, I understand. I drew in a Bass Open down in Toho. I drew Gerald Swindle, and one thing you notice about the pros though is their first cast of the day and their last cast of the day is all accurate. I mean, they could hit a teacup probably 50 yards. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, they don't leave you if you're fishing behind them. They're not going to leave you any water.
No. You have to get whatever's leftovers. You have to get the leftovers. So
yeah, and get lucky. Hopefully, some dump fish will come out.
Yep.
I've fished behind a couple of professional fishermen, and it's like crazy. You sit there and you're watching like where they casting, so you don't cast the same spot.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. You just leave it there longer.
Your mom says, "Hey, baby girl, proud of you. Love mom and dad."
Awesome.
So, yeah. Barking River says, "I love when folks draw Cliff Crochet. They can fish behind him all day and never understand his secrets."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, them guys are 300 days plus on the water too, so that's a little advantage they have on us.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a shameless plug here a little bit. You mentioned women and clothing. My wife used to sell clothing, and one of her issues is clothing not fitting, like the tournament jerseys. They don't fit women properly.
Yeah.
And so I went and I Rob and I had a couple guests on one day, and it was Fish Her.
Okay.
They have a men's line, a woman's line, and a unisex line.
Okay.
Yeah. So they want,
Come on.
my daughter has a jersey like mine is, and so she's proud of that.
It's switching up. You're trying to find I'm trying to think. Sims fits different than another, so you have to figure out your size first.
Correct.
I do try and get the female size, just so they fit, front part.
Yeah.
But my bibs, I really like the guys' bibs, the Challengers. Those keep me dry. And then I just like it because it zips up and down, where the girls is on the side. It's kind of hard to go potty when it's on the side. Then you're taking everything off.
Yeah, that makes it difficult. You're undressing to go to the bathroom or whatever, and no.
But I usually don't go on the boat. Tournament days, if it's my husband, it doesn't matter. But
right.
With another guy, I usually I've been a nurse. I mean, I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 32 years. So I hydrate the day before.
Yep.
Like a lot of water, drip drop, just stay super hydrated. And then the morning I have a routine. I have my cup of coffee. First thing when I get up, I down that coffee. I take Motrin first thing in the morning too. And then I'm done for the rest of the day and off the water. So, nice. But usually I don't have to go. And the guys will tell you that we stay with. Deanna doesn't eat out the day before. She can only have her sandwich, then that's it. And the rest of the tournament is pretty much clean eating.
Yeah.
But that's what you have to do. I mean,
my wife would love talking to you because she tells me I need to eat better too.
Yep.
So, but what got you into tournament fishing? Was it? Oh, you did say your husband. That's right. I'm sorry.
It was mainly him because I would fish and I didn't have the confidence. He goes, "Honey, you're catching you are actually probably more critical than some of the guys that I fished with. You know the water, you know where to throw, you know what to throw. You change up. You don't get stuck in one thing. You got to adjust mainly, and that's why I feel like one allowed me to win for the Delta is I adjusted. I kept changing baits up from reaction to slowing down to top water and reading the water. You just have to adjust.
That's true. And that's something I think you learn as a co-angler to start with, because you have to adjust a lot more than I'll call them the pros or boaters, And, with Rob and I being guys, we're kind of stubborn or set in our ways.
We're old and stubborn. I'll admit
it. Which makes it a little more difficult to switch things up.
Yeah, me and my husband, we have he'll be stuck in one groove and then he'll just keep, throwing his reaction, and I'll switch it up and throw something else, and I'll be the one catching the fish and he won't. And then he'll say, "What did you throw?" And then it's the 500 million questions. What did you throw? Where did you throw? How far out? What were you doing with the bait?
Yep.
So, yeah.
It's listen, hon, you only get 5 questions, okay?
That's it.
Yeah. Do you find a little family competition between the two of you?
Oh, yeah. There's always competition. I think being a fisherman, everybody's competitive. But we're very competitive, especially now fishing the California Federation back when I first started. Everybody was a pro. You signed up, everybody's the same. You're not co's against co's, it's pros against pros. No, it's front and back. You're fishing against each other. So there was one tournament, Maloney's. we were ounce away from each other. I took third and he took fourth. So of course you're going to rub it in. Ounce. What are the chances of that happening? But no, we love fishing. We love being out there and meeting new people. I've met so many people this year. I think every year that you go out fishing MLF, especially if you fish all 3 days, you get different guys. And it's so much fun being on the boat with the different people because you get to learn about them, their style of fishing, and who they are, their family, what they do for a living. And it's fun being on the boat with different people.
Absolutely. And what's neat though, if you get the same guy again, you draw the same angler in the future again, you already know each other, you're already comfortable. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Makes for a fun day.
It does. It takes your stress level from there to about there, so it does help.
Yeah.
What's stress? There's no
this
stress.
guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
My main concern is driving the guy that I drive. I just want to make sure he knows how to drive a boat, especially on the Delta. The Delta gets a little crazy, gets a little windy, a little rough. You got the ski boats, you got big boats out there, you got the big ships coming in too. So when those big ships come in, the water really pulls from all the little arms, and you got to know, okay, we got to go. The water is ruined. We got to leave. So but it's mainly is that my boater, my pro that I drive, I just want to make sure they know how to drive a boat. And MLF, I haven't had any problem. They're all very professional, and I can't complain one bit. MLF puts on a big, nice show.
They do. They do. Really nice. Now that brings up the next question. Now, I know you being from boating and fishing family, when did you start driving a boat by yourself?
By myself?
Yep.
I haven't done it in a tournament, but
okay.
Oh gosh, it's probably my husband. I'm trying to think. Well, my dad taught us how to drive a boat back then, but not the bass boat.
Yeah.
But no, it was my husband, because his main concern is if something happens to him, you got to know how to get back. You got to know the trolling motor, and you know how to get back. And he always goes over everything in the boat just in case something does happen. Like, you got to know how to do everything.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The club that I grew up, I say grow up because I'm never going to grow up, but the club I started out fishing in, before the first tournament of the year, they would have a weekend and go to a safe area and let co-anglers drive the boat and teach them how to drive the boat, drive the trolling motor, just in case, because you don't know. Because in New York, there are some rough waters. Mm-hmm. We have Lake Champlain, St. Lawrence River, Oneida, Seneca Lake. The last time they had a tournament on Seneca Lake, half the boats didn't make it back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, that I think it was the first and only time they went on Seneca Lake by me. And that might be a reason why. But, big waters and rough waters and winds and stuff like that. So they wanted to make sure that you were comfortable being able to drive the boat.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And of course, this was before cell phones too.
Yeah. A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Now, a quick question as a co. I hadn't really fished any tidal waters. Going in as a co-angler, what's kind of some tips for like the tidal waters? Like if it's around Maryland or East Coast, probably a lot like the West Coast. What kind of look for as a co? I know the tide coming in and out, but what's kind of some tips for some tidal waters if you're going in as a co?
It just depends on, everybody likes to fish different. If you have that high tide, of course, you're not going to throw top water. So you just got to watch the tide, what it's doing. Make sure the water's, moving. If it's still water, you're probably not going to catch anything unless it's on a bed. But you want to make sure that water is moving. So if the water is kind of still and not going, get out of there, move to a different spot. I like to fish both high water and low water. I think most of it is watching when it moves. When you catch a tide, the tide's dropping out, let's go. This is when they're gonna, and that's what happened on day one. Is we had high tide in the morning, and then once that water started to drop out, it was probably about a foot. That's when they bid. So we slowed down, down baits. And then when the water really dropped out, like with Micah, the water, like we went around this island and we were flipping weeds and stuff, and the water was high. But then when we came back, when the water was just right, just enough over the weeds where we could throw our top water, and that's when we both caught our limit. We did catch both of our limits at that time.
Oh, I got you.
Water, yeah. So I think it just depends on where you're at. The Delta is just different because you got to remember that you could be up by Sacramento. You're going to have a different tide down in Tracy because of, the tide movement and stuff.
Right. Right. And tide's moving. It's probably getting the bait and the crab or whatever kind of moving. So that makes sense.
We have a lot of crawdads.
That's good.
Yeah. And I remember that 2 weeks prior, before the MLF, the color was different. It was that the crawdad color, the spring craw color. So we were throwing that, the oranges and the reds and stuff like that. So they really like that orange and red color. So yeah, I brought some baits.
Okay.
So I know my favorite bait, as I knocked stuff over, is of course, the I can't even think right now.
You're good.
And then it's just a creature bait, and see how it has the
oh yeah.
Okay.
I love this. So you can either flip this or pitch it, or I also throw the smaller one. I throw it drop shot.
Okay.
I put a smaller leader on it, but 3/8 ounce weight.
Now you can't tell all of the secrets now.
It's okay.
It makes a good jig trailer too. So there you go. It's multi-purpose.
Yes. So yeah, that was mainly the color that we threw, and then trying to see, the other one is our crankbait that we threw a lot of, and it's the speed craw.
Oh yeah, yeah.
See, kind of the same colors.
Yeah, definitely.
This is our favorite one, the Delta.
Okay.
Great color all around. That color catches them everywhere.
Oh, Tennessee River. No.
Yeah, some there too. In spring.
Yeah. Now, before the show, you were talking to us about one of your best weekends you had fishing. Do you want to go over that a little bit with the people watching?
Oh yeah. I want to say it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Of course, it's on Clear Lake, the best lake in California. I feel it is. I love Clear Lake. Me and my husband, we call it Disneyland, because you can just go, what ride are we going to go on next? So we moved to our spot. So it was in July. We took our oldest son, Jared, out fishing for the weekend, and actually, I think it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it was just my week. Sorry, guys, but it was my week. And the first night we were throwing topwater because it's July, and I threw a buzzbait out, and my biggest fish ever, 11-pound, came on a buzzbait, and it just came up right by the boat, and me and my son, we both actually screamed because we weren't sure what it was, because all you could see is this big mouth just coming up. So that was pretty cool. And then the next day was, excuse me, I caught a 10-pounder on a frog. So that was pretty fun. And then the next day was a 9-pounder on a jig. So it was just my weekend. I caught the big fish every single day. Now, too bad it wasn't on a tournament, but it was fun catching them, though.
And 3 different lures, even better. 3 different lures too. That's awesome.
That's crazy. Well, both of them were taught. The first 2 were top water, but it was pretty crazy.
And for those of you who live south of Alabama and Arkansas, that's 29 pounds for 3 fish.
Awesome.
Too bad it was not.
Now, the biggest bag I've ever weighed in a tournament with 5 fish is 24.3, I think. So, and that's 5 fish.
Wow.
Dang.
Now, were they all largemouth?
Yeah, Clear Lake has some big girls. Clear Lake's got some big girls. My husband fished a tournament, I think it was 2006, and I think it was almost 40 pounds he had.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Clear Lake was on fire back in 2006. It was crazy. But some big ones. Clear Lake is so much fun to fish, though. If you haven't been there, you got to go. It's just great.
It's on the list.
Yeah.
Bark Lure says if you ever ran across a coon ass in aluminum flat bottom commercial fishing hoop net boat on a delta about 10 to 15 years ago, that was him.
I can see that happening.
Oh my gosh. Don't go on an aluminum boat in the Delta. It's scary. There's some big boats out there.
Yeah.
So you being California and us pretty much over on the east, what are some of the dream lakes that you'd like to go to that you had not been to before?
Here in California?
Anywhere.
Oh, Gunnersville. I would love to go to Gunnersville. I haven't fished that one. No! No. And then what's the other one? Chickamauga.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that?
They're kind of stiff. They're TVA Lake. They're on the TVA chain. They're pretty awesome. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I won't know about awesome, but they're similar. Now, what about lakes that you don't want to go back to? Are there any?
Oh, not really, because when you catch them, it's like you always want to go back. I mean, some lakes you like the Delta. Okay, the guys at the California Bass Federation are going to laugh at this because the Delta, it's a you love it, you hate it.
Yeah.
Because some days you could just wreck them, and then some days it's like, what the heck? Like it's hard. Yeah. And I fished a couple Delta tournaments with the California Bass Federation, and I would tell them, I'm not coming back. This is it. I'm done. I'm not fishing the Delta. I would hate the Delta. I'm done. I'll just do Clear Lake and Havasu. And they would laugh, and they said, you know what, Deanna, one of these days, the Delta, you're going to win. He says, that is the body of water that you know, and you could win on the Delta more than Clear Lake and Havasu. And here I am.
Wow. They knew what they was talking about.
Of course,
Hey.
to rub it in.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
What's one of your favorite techniques? One of your favorite techniques for fishing?
My favorite technique, I would say, pitching a brush hog. I love pitching. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorites. A spook is getting up there. I really used a spook this year, so that's kind of like, who doesn't like the thrill of top water though?
Yeah.
Top water is just awesome. But no, the spook, I would almost rank the spook as second. Crankbait, I like throwing a crankbait, but the weeds have to look good. But it does get frustrating throwing it because the weeds get all caught up in the treble hook. So you're chronically cleaning it out. But that bite is just crazy though. Delta fish are tough. They're aggressive and they're fun to catch, but there's nothing like reaction bait, I would say. But I do like pitching though. I would say pitching's my favorite.
Yeah, we give that crankbait and about rip the rod out of your hand. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and chatterbait's fun to throw too. Yep. It's just hard. Just depends on the weeds. If you got the lanes to throw in, it makes it fun. But I would say pitching the brush hog is my favorite with the 3/16 weight.
Hard to beat.
Yeah, I know. I won a lot on the drop shot, but the drop shot's not my favorite bait to throw.
Same here.
I agree.
It catches fish, though. This does. I mean, sometimes that thing gets all hooked up on everything. So
that's what's funny. You catch the little fish and they spinning you up line all around, get y'all tangled up. You got your big one and everything's perfect. It don't make no sense.
Those little ones, man.
They tangle up everything. They have the line around your worm and sinker all. Yeah, it's a mess.
And then you have to retie 2 knots, not just 1, 2.
Yep.
If it breaks off, so yeah. But it catches fish, though.
Yeah, we need a bite. That'll get you a bite.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yes. What is your biggest memory of fishing? Like one that you'll never forget?
When in MLS on J3, that was pretty awesome. But I'm trying to think. Gosh, I've just drawn this year. I've just drawn some really great guys to fish with. I mean, even down. I wouldn't say I don't have one special day, but like this year I fished MLF in May, and my first day I drew Roy Hawk. And
wow.
We just had a blast. That guy was so nice, and we just had a blast. And of course, we're throwing the I'm trying to think what it is 5XD pretty much all day, and just ripping it through grass. So my shoulder was kind of hurting, but we just had a blast. I had a really good tournament that day. Roy Hawk was just awesome reaction all day. And then the next day, of course, I drew Jason. I can't remember Jason's last name right now. But it was drop shot. We were drop shotting all day. So I going into day 3 on that tournament, I was sitting in 6th place going in. But day 3, it kind of wasn't so good.
It happens.
I think I ended up in 12th or 13th or something like that, but wasn't my time.
But see, you experienced day 3, and that probably helped you out in your win. You knew what to expect on day 3. Got to be versatile and keep an open mind. So that probably helped you.
Yeah, it did. But no, I'm trying to think. There's not really one day other than, catching big ones. Who doesn't want to catch a big fish?
Yeah.
Those Delta fish, they're fun. I think my biggest one was almost pushing 10 on the Delta years ago. But no, I love fishing with my husband too. We have a blast out there, so it's fun doing tournaments with him. I want to do more and more tournaments with him because it's just fun fishing, going out together and traveling with him to all the tournaments. It's a fun deal, and all the guys that we hang around with is just our fishing family. We call it, and we text each other probably every other day. We have a group text that we text everybody. But yeah, it's fun. It's funny, the guys that we hang around with, I think one lives in California, one's in Idaho, and then you got Jim Moulton that lives in Havasu. So they're kind of all over, but we still we're a very close knit group.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, we had a traveling group too, and we went to Oneida Lake. Let's see, we had one guy in from Michigan, one guy from Massachusetts, one guy from Virginia, couple from New York, and that's the best thing about it is the camaraderie and the meeting all the people. That's my opinion.
Yep.
I mean, cashing a check is good too, but
that ain't gonna happen every time, though. So.
I know.
That's crazy. The unfortunate thing about fishing, Well,
they call it fishing, not catching. So, man, there you go.
There you go. Now, any advice for a co-angler or on the mental aspect of it? Because you have to be so versatile as a co-angler.
You do, and it's super hard. As a co-angler, I would recommend you just have to be ready for everything. Yeah. My bag weighs a ton. My bag probably weighs more than me. But guys always say your bag weighs more than you. But you have to have everything. You have to have down baits. You have to have all your reaction. You have to have your crankbait, your chatterbaits. You have to have top water, and you kind of bring the top water that's been working for you prior to the tournament, like if the buzz bait or spook's working, or fish your strengths too. I mean, but you do have to just be ready for anything. Punching too. I mean, bring your punch box. That's probably, punch box weighs a ton too.
Oh yeah, got to.
You just have to be ready. And then also your worms. I mean, you've got your 6-inch, your 4-inch, your Cincos. You got your 5, your 6, your 7. So you kind of have to bring a little bit of everything. Sometimes you're putting bags of like little worms. Okay, I'll take 5 of these and 5 of these just to be ready that day. So just being ready for wherever your boater's going to take you, because you may be throwing something that you're not going to, what you pre-fished with, but then the day of the tournament, you're doing something different because your boater's taking you to a different area, like a pond area. My husband likes to fish reaction. So pre-fish, we threw a lot of crankbaits and chatterbaits and not a little bit of down baits. You got to always test it out. But during the tournament, it was Cinco and drop shot the whole entire time because the water that we were in was not, we weren't running like weed lines. We were running like little ponds here and there and fingers and stuff like that. So you just have to adjust to the area and bring everything.
And stay positive. Number one.
Yeah, positive. It's mental. Just don't be hard on yourself. I knew going into the tournament, I always ask my husband, okay, what kind of weight do I need to bring in every day? And he says, bring in 12 pounds a day and you'll be fine. And that's what I did. Well, the first day I think it was 15 pounds, 15, 14, and then 13. So I did bring in more than 12. So, but yeah, I always ask him before the tournament, where do you think a co-angler, what do I need? So then you're not like, okay, I didn't get what he told me to get. And then you kind of get a little bit upset, but then you're like, okay, I have tomorrow. Don't panic and don't freak out if your boater's catching all the fish in the morning, just like I did. You got all day. Just wait for the right time.
Oh, you need. I tell myself I need 5 good bites to see 5 good bites.
Yeah, 5 good bites. That's it, and then upgrade from there.
There you go. Exactly.
Yep. So, Barking Uber says no one wants to be excited about catching fish on a weenie wand.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Say.
Yeah, you do. Gotta start low and then work your way up. So,
I used to be bad about if my boater. I showed up, my boater started drop shot, and I'd be like, "Oh man!" That'd be like my number one technique. I was like, "Oh man!" But I finally learned how to get around that. But it used to freak me out. I'd be like, "Dang it!" So it happens.
Try not to throw what my boater's throwing. I always try and throw something different. But if that color's working, adjust. Maybe throw a 4-inch instead of a 6-inch, or if maybe he's throwing the fat tail, we'll throw the skinny tail, and the straight tail. So, but they like that MM3 color. I mean, can't be.
That's one of my confidence colors. That the thing works everywhere.
Yeah,
what
and
What?
And the Cinco bite. That's the other thing. You've got your 7, 6, and 5. Well, we caught. I think my husband caught I think it was an 8-pounder, the practice before MLF. He was throwing the 7, and then the guy I was fishing with, I think he was throwing a 6. And I just decided never throw what your boater's throwing, try to adjust. So I went to a smaller. I went to the 5.
Yep.
So, and smelly jelly on it.
Can't go wrong there.
What flavor do you use? Do you use garlic or do you use what?
Yeah, it's garlic scent. It's called smelly jelly. Yeah, it's the white one. I think it's fish claw or something. Can't remember right now. But yeah,
they have one that is very nasty.
Yeah. There's
that. I had a buddy put that he was dared to use it for a lip balm.
Oh, gross!
No way.
Oh,
now, Deanna's a nurse, so I can say this. It felt like he said it smells like puke to start with.
Ooh,
It gets worse as the day goes on.
Oh,
couldn't imagine.
Couldn't get it off.
Yeah.
What did he win out of that? If you put that on, you said it was a dare?
Yeah, it was a dare. What did he got the Mike.
Oh, there. Thank you, honey. Triple X cross smelling.
Yep, I know. Yep, very familiar with that.
He got to launch out first.
Yeah. Was it worth it though? That's the question. Was it worth it?
No, he couldn't concentrate for half a day.
Didn't pay off.
No. So now for the tough question. What is your favorite homemade cookie?
Oh, oatmeal raisin. Yeah. I like oatmeal raisin.
Okay. Thomas Tucker says, "Love you, sis."
I love you.
So, all right. Now this is the time you've answered our questions and done everything for our audience and us. Now let's do something for you. Let's give you the floor and talk about people who've helped you along the way, some of your sponsors or anything like that, just for you.
Okay. People that helped me along the way. Number one person, my husband. So thank you. We're going to move on because I might start to cry, but he's my biggest supporter, my biggest fan. Probably my mom and dad too. Thank you. They're always there. And then California Bass Federation guys, thank you, Jeff and Archie, they always text me after every single tournament and say, "You got this, girl. Just go out there and fish. You got it." And then they always, after when I get off the water, they're always supporting me. How'd it go? What'd you do? So thank you, Jeff and Archie. I'm trying to think. Our travel buddies, Wade Curtis, little shout out for his chatterbaits, ladies man. He makes the best chatterbaits out there. I love Wade. He's awesome. He's our travel buddy that goes everywhere with us. Stayed a few days at our house, and yeah, he's awesome. Aaron Agner, another co-angler, awesome guy. Those two are buddies, so they travel together. And then Steve Way, my husband's best friend since he was little. I think 4 or 5. They've known each other.
Oh, wow.
4 or 5 years old. Yeah. So he fishes with us. He travels. And then, of course, a shout out to CNC Marine, Jim Moulton. Thank you. I adore Jim, and he's a great friend. And I'm trying to think what else. Phil Dutra, thank you. He's another one that's a big supporter. In fact, he's in Gunnersville now. He was from California. He moved out to Gunnersville. So, and
there
then
you go.
One of our kids, I always call him our kids because he's the same age as our kids, but Andrew Loberg. I love Andrew. Andrew's another one that is a big supporter, and he encourages and texts and stuff like that. So cool. And that was all of our big group that we used to travel together. I'm trying to think. Sponsors, of course, CNC Marine, Jim and Linda Moulton. Thank you. And then Phoenix Boats. Hi, Jeff, my brother. Loves Phoenix Boats. I've as a co-angler, actually, this is another thing. As a co-angler, you ride in so many different boats, like big time.
Oh, yeah.
So you know which ones, like when you draw somewhere, you're going, oh man, it's gonna be a rough day. Gotta hold on.
Yep.
My back's gonna hurt, and I need some Motrin.
Yeah.
We've always had a Ranger boat until 2020. My husband's a big Rangers fan, and riding on the Delta, the water is like really hard. So when you're riding in a Ranger, you're kind of like, oh, you can feel it in your back. Phoenix boat, we have a 921 Elite, and riding in that, our first time riding out in the Delta in that boat, he's all, okay, I'm going to take a wave, hold on. And I'm like, okay, ready. And then it just cut right through. He's all, okay, I'm going to take a bigger wave. And I'm like, okay, he goes, get ready. It was nothing. It cut right through the waves. Those Phoenix boats, they ride nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And plenty of storage. pretty behind the seat storage and storage for your rods. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and that's the best thing, like for a co-angler side, like when they, most of the guys don't have that console on the passenger side because they don't like the co-anglers. No, we can all bend. But it's nice not having it there because you can totally stack all your rods right there. And
Exactly.
they're all nicely lined out. None of your tips are, your rods aren't getting damaged, which is really nice. Yep. So shout out to Phoenix Boats. And then Mercury, that's our other sponsor, Mercury Marine. And then Irod, Matt Newman, and Pat Bailey, thank you for always taking care of us and getting us our rods when we say, I need one real quick, or I broke one, sorry. It happens. But no, Matt and Paul Bailey, awesome. And then Daiwa, Sims, and I think that's it. Monster Tackle is our other sponsor. So
awesome. Good group.
We have other ones, but I can't remember right now. So, and I don't have
You're good.
Awesome. Anything else, Rob?
No, I mean, we enjoyed having you. And see, I told you an hour go by quick. We're just about in an hour, and I told you to go by quick. I told you. But we really enjoyed you and your stories and learn more about the West Coast and the title. So we really appreciate you.
Well, if you guys need a place to stay, give me a call. We have a room downstairs.
Oh, nice.
My husband will take you out on the Delta.
Oh, sweet. I may be out there this fall, so I may take you up on that.
Definitely, because we're
all right.
Where we're located, we're 25 minutes from Tracy.
Okay, so I got you.
Yeah, real close. So.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you very much. We've enjoyed it. For everybody, who came in late, you can always catch it on the replay on our YouTube channels. So don't be afraid to check that out.
And a lot of juice on it, guys. You need to go replay it because there's a lot of juice. She shared a lot of good tips.
All right. Well, thank you, Deanna. We appreciate it. And
good luck. Good luck rest of your season.
Yep.
Yeah, Wheeler. That's our next tournament.
We'll be watching. We'll be cheering y'all and watching. So good luck.
Thank you.
All right. All right. See you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, you good, man.
What a show.
Wow. You tell she had a positive attitude going in, and she let the tournament come to her. So awesome, man. That's tough to get one of those Toyota, get a win in the Toyota is tough. We both know that. So
oh, we have 2 more women for the rest of the week. Violet Talley, Violetta, and Jen Nolan. You might want to pay attention to that one.
Both of them. That'd be a lot of good info on those.
I believe Jen fishes out of a kayak.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So how did your kayak weekend go?
Well, I actually fished out of John boat Saturday. I went kayaking Friday after work, and it went pretty good. Kind of got windy. It's weird. The wind started blowing in one direction, so I put on my kayak toward the waves. Then it started blowing the other direction, 180 degrees. But I didn't catch much, but I had fun. And then I went with a good friend out at work. He has a little John boat, and there's a auto-only lake way out in the middle of nowhere. And never been to it. So I said, well, I'll go with you up there and you can show me around. And we had a good time. We caught about 20, I'd say. Caught some bull on the buzzbait, caught on drop shot. So a little bit good times. Had good times with him. And
awesome.
So yeah, got out twice. So it's always a good weekend to get out twice. So, but yeah, I'm learning. I'm getting pretty comfortable with the kayak, but it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it even more than I thought I would.
Nice, excellent. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Even you, Barking Rugers, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us. And that's about it.
Yep. Hey, we got one more comment there, Linda.
Great job. Enjoyed watching.
We appreciate you, Linda. Thank you for tuning in.
Yep. And just for those who are new to the show, Mondays is dedicated for women only, trying to help grow the sport. And yeah, thanks, Joe.
Hey, Joe, I got the background here just for you. Make you feel at home, man. I was just for you, buddy.
Yeah. So Mondays is women, Tuesdays co-anglers, and Wednesdays is wide open. Anybody can join.
Yep.
We even have Barking Googers on once in a while.
Always entertaining.
There we go. We're gonna have to get him on here talking about how to finesse fish.
Yeah, a 30-pound braid on his crappie setup.
Yeah, Snoopy rod.
Uh-oh, here we go.
And I think some people get lost in your eyes, Rob. I get lost in your brain.
I figured you enjoyed that, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and we love you all. Y'all have a good night, and peace out.